And so I'm looking forward to Mike Israetel's apology. When he says, "I'm sorry, Coach Greg, for lying about you. I got you wrong. I made a mistake. You're not selling snake oil. Everyone else is." I can't wait to hear Mike's apology.
And so Mike's latest video, it's titled, "I Messed Up." No kidding. And so let's find out exactly where Mike messed up.
I am a fucking joke.
And so somehow I'm shocked. The video, it's only 13 minutes long. Perhaps Mike Israetel is in fact as smart as he says he is. He's so concise, he was able to apologize about all the things he messed up in only 13 minutes. That literally takes a genius. Greg clicking harder than last time for relevancy. This is the #1 comment. What is the #2 comment? Greg about to make a 30-minute video about the fact that Mike should have bought his cookbook to avoid all these mistakes. Let's read the 3rd most popular comment. Literally 6 minutes later, a Greg Doucette video will be dropped. Let's read the 4th most popular comment. Greg Doucette turking his GO2 Max harder than last time recording his next vid. How about the 5th most popular comment? No more cereal and Gatorade. And so most people realize that Mike messed up, and he could have not messed up by just listening to Coach Greg. I have been right all along. This dates back to 4 years ago when Coach Greg and Mike Israetel, we had a debate. Oh, Coach Greg, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Finally, Mike Israetel admits that he was wrong. This video has fueled Greg's editorial department for the rest of the year. Greg waiting for this his whole life. Waiting for Coach Greg and his based editor to upload a reply to this so I can laugh harder than last time. Even Mike's channel members are waiting for a drop from Greg and his editor. When I see Dr. Mike in the thumbnail, I have to stop and see if it's a Greg Doucette video, LOL. Yo, Doucette, Greg the fat Doucette on this Greg last Doucette about baby fat. What the heck? Coach Greg is going to love this video.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt.
Greg's left eye twitching. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
I mean, we don't even need to watch the video. We could literally make the entire response video watching the people respond to Mike Israetel. Greg and Mike Israetel to this harder than last time. Do you know how many people sent me this video as if I hadn't already watched it? I can already see Greg GO2 maxing all over his laptop while making a review on Mike's video. Thank you, Greg. Blue Lobster and Intense Me.
I have more willpower than you.
Thank you, Greg.
Blue Lobster pipe music in the background. Do you want Coach Greg to make another Dr. Mike video? Because this is exactly how you get Coach Greg to make another video, Dr. Mike video. Mike literally owes his fan base to me making fun of him. Thank you, Greg. And what's the next comment? Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
743, you just know Greg's editor is going to have a field day with the clip up to all whining all the time.
Nowadays, what I do is do this, and then like 3 months after the end of my fat loss phase, I'm still fucking lean, and it feels amazing, and I'm healthier, and I'm putting on muscle the whole time, but like, I never lose my aesthetic, and I never lose my health, and I never lose my mobility. It's just all winning all the time.
Greg is lubing up a bagel as we speak. Getting out the lube. Coach Greg was brutal on Dr. Mike's diet, and I agree. When I saw Dr. Mike eating cereal, I knew it was wrong. Greg gonna have a field day with this one. Oh no, Greg's editor going to be clipping 2 minutes harder than last time.
Unfortunately, that much body fat gave me permanent forever love handles that hang around as waterlogged things even when I'm at 6% body fat.
And so I ended up
Carrying 20 pounds of body water on stage.
You're a unique snowflake, Mike.
I made lots of mistakes in my life. Many of them follow me to this day.
And so, no kidding, he's made a lot of mistakes in his life. Many of them followed him to this day, the most important of which was not getting a proper.
I let hope trade in for logical analysis when I was gaining weight. Weight never came easily to me.
Weight never came easy to me. The man's a 5'6" manlet. He was 270 pounds. To this day, he's the same height, 5'6" and 235. He was 217 at competition. He should have been 198, should have been competing as a light heavy. And since that time, he claims he's on low doses HRT and he's ballooned up to 235. He's on a GLP-1 agonist to help control his appetite. But no, wait, it comes on so hard for me. I mean, if I didn't force feed myself, I'd probably be 150 pounds. Does anyone believe that?
So I was like, yeah, I can always burn this fat off later. And so I kept doing that, and I got up to a drug-free 270 pounds at 5'6".
Viewers' discretion is advised. If you are squeamish, if you don't want to have nightmares, I suggest you look away right now. I'm warning you. Remember level 4? Not everyone comes back from that. The same applies to the image I'm about to show you. And so YouTube, remember, I have the right to show this. I know it's not supposed to be seen. Perhaps viewer discretion is advised. Younger children, look away. But if you have a strong stomach, let us see Mike Israetel at 5'6", 270 pounds, 100% natural. Are you ready? It's going to be brief. 1 second top. It's kind of like a solar eclipse. Mepsigram, she's an eye surgeon. You don't want to look very long. How long can you look at solar eclipse before any kind of serious results could happen? You shouldn't. You shouldn't. But let's say you want it. Could you look like for a quarter second? You shouldn't do it. Not even a quarter second. So you've been warned. You've been warned.
Makes me shit my pants. Thank you, Greg.
I'm a risk taker. I have looked at the solar eclipse briefly, quarter of a second, every so often. I've probably done it 2 or 3 times. I might have looked for half a second that time.
Are you okay?
No. I am 49. I'm a professional. Don't rewind. Don't timestamp this, people. You've been warned.
And unfortunately...
Fortunately, I had to see that. Fortunately, other people had to see that. Unfortunately, he had to make the mistake, but remember, it was his grave sacrifice, his sacrifice to the world, to teach the people to not ever do what Mike Israetel has done. Don't do this. Say no to drugs. And eating like Mike Israetel.
Don't do drugs. If you're doing it, stop it. Get some help.
That much body fat gave me permanent forever love handles that hang around as waterlogged things even when I'm at 6% body fat.
If you bulk up to 270 pounds, what happens is you develop permanent love handles that retain 20-ish pounds of water that you can never undo. It's permanent water on the side of your hips. He has a PhD, so what he says,
on the sides, on the
there's
anatomy?
water pockets. I mean, you have a PhD. So describe to me, in your lessons in university, you had to learn the body.
Mm-hmm.
Were there 20-pound love handle pockets on the side of your hip somewhere on the body, love handles?
Filled with water?
With water.
Permanent?
Permanent for life. Once you've been fat, it's there for life. You can't ever be shredded ever. Even at 6% body fat, as he says he was his last competition. He clearly was 6%. He just didn't have the proper tan. But he had a lot of water here. Just that area.
Never studied that.
I didn't either. I had the highest GPA in my master's and my undergrad. I was on the Dean's List Scholar every year. How did you do in school?
I was excellent.
Do you think that our combined IQs together might be in the range of Mike?
Screwed up my skin, maybe super unaesthetic, and to be honest, like, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but it got me way less laid than I could have been in college, I'll tell you that much.
And so it was his extreme amount of body fat that he had that kept the ladies away from Mike Israetel. He says he didn't get laid as often as he would have liked. That implies he actually got laid. He might have gotten David laid, as in watched his videos while Turk-maxing all over his stomach. So if you do decide to overindulge for an extended period of time, your fat cells, they can in fact divide and multiply. And what happens is in the end, you have more of them. More fat cells leads to more hunger signaling, and AK makes it harder to diet, likely why he now has to rely on a semi-glutide, a GLP-1 agonist, if you will, something like Ozempic, or to keep his appetite at bay. But yet that didn't even go figure.
Now, the fact that I had negative game probably also helped.
I mean, there's three main factors in order to get women. You have to have money, you have to have looks, and you have to have game. Mike in college, he never had money, he never had looks, he never had... Mike Israetel now, he got a heck of a lot of money. That's what he has.
Greg has all three.
Her words, not mine. Let's continue.
Just getting that fat was pointless. I thought it was going to bring me a ton of muscle. What it really did was brought me some decent muscle that I could have gained if I went much more slowly, but it got me a bunch of fat.
And so with all that high intellect, his IQ at least 4 standard deviations above the mean, would you say? At least 160. IQ about 100 on average. Every 15 steps up, you go higher and higher levels, the bell curve. So he's way over to the right. With that high IQ, he thought if he bulked to 270 pounds, somehow it would lead to more muscle growth than if he bulked to, say, 220. He was a 5'6" manlet, 100% natural, and bulked to 40% body fat plus. Does anyone think that's going to help? Yeah, some people still think so because they're ridiculous. It's a dream. Like if you dream you're going to get a pro card, it just doesn't happen. I have a lot of things that happen in my sleep. I suffer from narcolepsy. I can feel pain in my sleep. Like you had broken your pinky. I dreamt the other day that I'd broken my pinky and I had to straighten it. I'm in pain in my sleep. It's not fun. 2% of people who are narcoleptic, they feel pain like Coach Reg. I'm going to hopefully dream better things like having sexy time with a throat goat. Things like that. Aww.
Instead of getting up to huge body fats, I would say for most people, males in their 20s, stop bulking when you get to anywhere between, on average, 15 and 20% fat.
Stop bulking when on average you get between 15 and 20% body fat. Did you know that approximately 70% of North Americans, people in Canada, US, places where we live, are already above 20% body fat? That's at the high end point, 20%. And so 70% of you right now watching this, those of you watching this right now, the ones who are watching this right now, you're already bulked past 20%. And so 70% of you watching this, you should be on a cut. Oh, but Coach Greg, he doesn't know what he's talking about. You need to bulk and cut to put on muscle. No, you don't. You mean gain. And that's at 20%. Think of 15. Hardly anyone's under 15. Most people are obese. Sorry, telling you the truth.
That is the way to do it. I got to probably just over 30% body fat. Let me tell you.
Mike got up to 30% body fat, he claims. Do the math. 270 pounds times 0.7. That's assuming he has 70% lean tissue. If 30% was fat, 70% was lean. Take 70% of 270, it's about 189. I weigh right now 189. Does anyone think that when Mike Israetel was 100% natural, he had way more muscle than Coach Greg? That is what he's stating here right now. And so when he shows that picture, the one that you looked at briefly for a quarter second, because you don't want to burn out your eyes, like looking at the friggin' solar eclipse. When you see that photo, that 40% plus, do we dare show them again? I mean, the eye surgeon's in the room. She's saying no. She's saying don't look. Don't look.
Yeah.
What about 1/10 of a second? That's enough to perceive and then take it in.
Okay, for that photo.
Reaction time. 0.1 is a very fast reaction time for a sprinter. Probably 0.1 to 0.18 seconds is typical reaction time. If they look for under a quarter second, I think they can look at it. Just briefly, don't look at the bottom. Stare mostly at the fat area of the stomach. Take it in brief. Shut your eyes. Look away. And tell me, is that closer to 30%? Which is what it is in his dreams. Remember, dreams, not reality. Just like he had a dream of getting a pro card. It was a dream. It wasn't meant to be a goal. It was a dream. And so he dreamt that that was 30% body fat. It was 40. 40 plus.
I stayed fat for a really long time, but I was like, why would I spend time getting leaner if I can spend that same time bulking, getting more jacked?
And so the second big mistake that Mike had is he stayed fat for a heck of a long time. He thought that if I stay super fat, then I'll get super jacked. Because you need to just keep bulking because that's how you put on muscle. I mean, what year in university did they teach you that 38% body fat doesn't help you build more muscle than 28% body fat? I knew this in high school, and I'm older than Mike. I'm so old, I'm 49. I'm starting to think that Mike Israetel's IQ, it's not 179, but closer to 79. 79!
I have more willpower than you.
Did he chat GPT his way through university? Did he pay off some muscular guy with a lot of hair on his chest to write all his papers, his thesis for him? Maybe.
It affected my long-term health. Like, it absolutely took future years off my life. Guaranteed. And it affected my cardio to a really high extent.
And so it took years off of his life. It affected his cardio. He couldn't get laid. And on top of that, he then decided to use performance-enhancing drugs. Again, going to take years off of his life. And so how can a man with this level of supreme intelligence do such stupid things to his own body?
I'm 6 feet from the edge and I'm...
My ability was reduced because I was in such bad physical shape. If I had stayed leaner, I'm not talking about contest lean, somewhere between 10 and 20% body fat kind of all the time, I would have gotten even more muscular.
10 and 20% body fat all the time. Let's call it 15 and let's call it main gain. No Coach Greg would ever have said this in any of his videos, that you could just maintain a healthy body fat percentage and slowly put on muscle. But why would I do that when I can convince people to bulk and then cut? It sells more programs. But oh, I remember, Coach Greg is a snake oil salesman. All he does is care about making money. Yet, I give it to you straight. Bulking and cutting, coaching people, you gotta go in a bulk now, you gotta go in a cut now. It makes more money than just saying, hey, you die once and you're done. We're good. It makes more money to bulk and cut. Yet, did I teach that? Hell no. I'm hopped up on caffeine, guys. Today's a full day of eating. It was a full day of living with Mepsigram. I had to eat her diet, she had to eat mine.
Scott, what would you say is my least attractive characteristic other than being 5'1" and 1/4?
Personality?
Your least attractive quality is your personality. The looks is so bad. The personality is even worse. Thank God you got 13 Lamborghinis for your butlers.
Oh my God. I'm like Listerine in the eyes of women when I talk. That's how I see myself in any case.
I mean, let's not insult Listerine. Guys, are we really going to get sued by the company Listerine? Listerine lawsuits coming out. Mike Israetel compared himself to Listerine in the eyes? No! Are you kidding me? Listerine would be refreshment for the eyes after seeing a Mike Israetel in his underpants. What did he say?
It's also no fun. You look like shit. People make fun of you everywhere. And you just don't have any friends. No, I had tons of friends, but they at least dealt with my fatness well. I'll give them that.
You know my favorite thing about him, though? I like his voice.
Mike, your best quality is your voice.
No, actually,
it's like a Sam Sulek. No, actually.
Deep. It's deep.
It's deep.
Yeah, I like it.
Mike has a soothing voice, and he speaks in a pleasantly,
There's something I like about
pleasant
it.
tone.
So we'll give him that. Like, that's his best.
We're giving him that. So, Mike, your best quality is your voice.
Yeah.
Just work on the words you use with it.
Yeah.
Print that.
Print that. Thank you, Greg.
So, Mike from the side, like when you listen to Mike, so what they call this is he has a face for radio. Coach Greg, he doesn't have a face for radio.
Unless he's Batman. Then he has, oh yeah.
Back to the video.
And for some reason, I thought that when I got leaner, I was going to be so catabolic that, like, if I stayed leaner and slowly gained, I would, like, lose my...
What is the next step of the operation?
And so let's be frank, Mike's idea of being a little bit leaner is fat. By saying a little bit leaner, he means a little bit less grotesque. He goes from 20% body fat, he would cut down to about 25 and be like, oh, I'm a little bit smaller now. And then he would rebulk to 40%. This is what Mike Israetel continued to do. And how do I know this? Coach Reg, you're just yapping. I know I'm the yap master. I speak Japanese, I speak Gen Z, I speak Spanish, I speak English, French, I do a lot of things. But the reason I know this is this. When Mike competed, he was fat. Editors show the footage of Mike Israetel when he competed and lost against the Oompa Loompa. This visual evidence of Mike at the peak of his cut. This is Mike shredded, of which he claimed was 19 pounds of water in the love handles from formerly weighing 270. That was him shredded. 16 weeks of dieting plus. And so when he says, I dieted down and got really lean, what he means is he dieted down and approached not being obese anymore, and then he went back on a bulk. It didn't work for him. He still needed to cut.
I'd recommend gaining like half a pound a week for a lot of weeks versus gaining a pound to 2 pounds, then within 6 weeks finding yourself super fat again.
And so what he's saying is he's rather you main gain and gain weight slowly like Coach Greg says than gain, for example, 1 or 2 pounds a week. All you need to do, guys, is main gain. I also suggest you get my freaking cookbook and you don't listen to Mike. All you gotta do is get the cookbook, you follow the recipes. How full were you today? We swapped diets. Describe the eggy rice. Oh man, this is enough. She ate a quarter of it. There were 500 and a bit calories. She ate a quarter of it. Could hardly get it down. Not because it didn't taste good. It tastes amazing, but so filling. Kind of like a Kaiko bar in the mouth, of which Mike has in fact experienced. And remember, he said thank you, Greg.
The Kaiko bar from HTLT. Not bad. Great macros. Thank you, Greg. Don't make the same mistake I did. Muscle growth takes time, and it's been shown time and time again in research.
And so Mike, by his 8th year of university, discovered that, muscle growth, it takes time. You can't just snap your fingers, eat a bunch of calories, and suddenly you get jacked. It takes time.
I used to really focus specifically on meal timing as if it was this huge priority.
And so you are currently listening to a man who used to think that if you ate a meal a half an hour apart from what you were supposed to do, that you'd lose your gains. I'm 49.
79! I have more willpower than you.
I knew this in high school. How is it that I knew this, but that Mike didn't? Remember, I don't even have a PhD. I was taught to me in high school, my phys ed teacher, we knew this. We didn't need to eat on the exact hour, on the hour, every hour. No, it wasn't like that.
But it turns out all these things make almost no difference, if any difference at all.
You know what makes a difference though, Mike? Turk Builder Max. It's been proven that it's real. It's turkesterone from Uzbekistan. And have you in fact tried it? Imagine the video that Mike's going to have to make when eventually, down the road, he's forced to eventually try it. He's going to hold off as long as possible because imagine what he's going to have to do to his conscience. Every day he thinks about it. He didn't get his program. Every day he thinks of vengeance. Every hour. Imagine when he realizes that Turk Max actually works, that I'm not a snake oil salesman, that the other companies are the ones that are lying, and that I have integrity. How is he going to process all of this? Perhaps he'll have to ask ChatGPT. He doesn't have the intelligence himself. He's perhaps 160 IQ at best, 4 standard deviations above the mean. It's his best. It's not enough. ChatGPT. You have to have some artificial intelligence, grow some brain tissue, and program his mind inside of it and say, how is it possible? Allow me to understand this. It's as easy as trying, Mike, and trying it's believing. And if it didn't work for you, do you know what you would do? A money-back guarantee and a $20 gift card. You've admitted that you've been wrong in your life many times about some serious things. Can you now not admit that you're wrong about turkesterone? And so once you've admitted one thing, you just continue down that path. It gets easier every single time.
And we learned how to simplify the dieting process so much that the whole diet you can use to get in your best shape only takes up 1 page.
And so if you actually don't want to be as hungry, if you're struggling with that, you can pick up GLP Max. Remember, it's going to dramatically decrease your appetite. Mike Israetel, he's currently using one, although his is an injectable, but mine, it's available orally and it's 100% natural. You will not fail a WADA test.
There are a couple of supplements I won't mention that are kind of maybes, but the definite ones to go to are creatine, protein powders, and protein shakes, carb powders and drinks like Gatorade, Powerade. Gatorade makes me shit my pants.
And so notice there's a couple that are maybes that he doesn't want to mention. I wonder why. Imagine Mike making a video where he says there's a couple products that I want you to know about, GO2 Max and Turk Max. He wouldn't do it. Do you really think Mike would promote my supplements? And so he has to do everything to avoid talking about it.
You guys ever seen someone who's 28% body fat taking CLA tabs and being like, this is going to get me lean? It's a fucking joke. I was a fucking joke. I am a fucking joke.
No disagreement here. You notice how easily he said that? When you're speaking truths, it just flows. It's very, very believable.
I am a fucking joke.
And so if you're looking for any of the supplements, the coaching plans by me and my team, the cookbooks, training books, all this good stuff, get to the website.
I am a fucking joke.
And remember, I have the clothing line, I've got the diet book, I got everything. If you don't have the money and you need something for free, get to the website and pick up the free diet and training program.
I am a fucking joke.
There are multiple different variations of this depending on your needs, and it's free. Giving away over 100,000 of these. Remember, the guy that's not just trying to make money, he's trying to give back. Why not get the free diet and training program? Don't forget to enter code Greg to get your 15% off. Don't forget about the money back guarantees and so on. And until next time, I am out.